says when Yaakov came back to Eretz Yisrael after 20 years by his tricky, sneaky swindler of an uncle, Lavan. He comes to Eretz Yisrael and he perceives angels coming to greet him. And he's got angels going with him. And seeing two camps of angels like this, so he calls the place the two camps, which in Hebrew is Machanayim, where the two angels meet. What are the two groups of angels? So Rashi says that there are angels that are for Eretz Yisrael, and the angels outside of Eretz Yisrael are a different rank of angels altogether. I think the implication is that the angels of Eretz Yisrael are on a much higher level. It says about the land of Eretz Yisrael that the very air makes a person wise. So when Yaakov left Eretz Yisrael, he had to leave behind the angels of Eretz Yisrael. They don't go outside of Eretz Yisrael. And a new group of angels had to greet him and escorted him the whole time that he was outside of Eretz Yisrael. Now, on his way out, he lay down to sleep. Why did he lie down to sleep? Because there was no motel. He couldn't check in anywhere. And it was dark. And it was midday. It shouldn't have been dark in the middle of the afternoon. He realized since it got dark so quickly, this was totally unnatural. It must be because Hashem wanted him to stay there. And where was it that he was? He was in the very same place where his father had been brought up as an offering to God. And that's why he was there, because he was leaving Eretz Yisrael, and he said, it's not proper if I'm passing by the place where this tremendous event happened with my father, that he was willing to be a sacrifice to God, and instead Hashem blessed my Zayda and blessed my father with the most beautiful blessings. He's always going to take care of them. How can I not stop and say and pray to Hashem? He should bless me too. Now he was really on the border of Eretz Yisrael. He was about to leave when he had this thought that even though I'm running to get out of here because it's not safe, I can't just go by and not stop there. And he went back. As soon as he turned around to go back, he found himself there. It says Hashem made the way short for him. Or they said that the earth jumped, or the way jumped. It's called kfitzas haderech, when the way becomes extremely short, and he suddenly found himself there, and soon the sun set. And then he had the famous dream of Jacob's ladder. You've heard of that? Jacob's ladder. He dreamt of a ladder with angels going up and angels coming down. What are the angels going up and what are the angels coming down? There's two explanations. There's three explanations. First explanation I already gave you. The angels going up were the angels of Eretz Yisrael. They were leaving him. And the angels coming down were the angels who were going to escort him wherever he went, outside of the land of Israel. So this teaches us lesson number one, that we're never alone. Hashem is with us all the time, and he sends his angels to be with us. We have to know that. We're not just ordinary people like everybody else. We have an entourage of angels who are accompanying us. Sarah Mora came in with all her angels. Where's Sharonelle?
Maybe
She's usually here. No, don't see. Who's there? Oh, Zeitkin, Sarah Zeitkin. Gotta mark her present.
they're probably sharing the computer.
They're sharing.
Circa and sharing.
Oh, sharing is a good thing.
Sharing is caring.
A second understanding what these angels are that go up is that everything you do, everything you say, everything you even think creates an angel. when husband and wife are get married, let's say they're not successful, they're not blessed with children, with actual physical children, but they're not able to have physical children, but they have spiritual children. Every time that they're together, they have spiritual children, who just the neshamas don't make it down into a physical body. And everything we do also creates an angel. So when Yaakov went in to get a blessing from his father, Yitzchak says, oh, there's a wonderful aroma just came into the room, a fragrance that I recognize. It's the fragrance of Gan Eden. That was wonderful. How did he know what Gan Eden smelled like? Because he had been there. When?
On the altar.
What?
On the altar.
When he was on the altar, yeah. For 3 years afterwards, he was in Gan Eden. Hashem protected him. His neshama went out, and Hashem protected it. It shouldn't come to any harm for 3 years until he got married. So he knew what it smelled like. Another explanation why it smelled like Gan Eden, because his mother gave him the garments of Adam Arishan that Adam Arishan had received from Hashem in Gan Eden. So they had a smell of Gan Eden about them. But there's a third explanation that what smelled like Gan Eden was the angels that he brought with him. He brought angels with him from all his Torah learning and all his good deeds. And we also do that. All the things that we do, the good things, the not good things, create spiritual creations, and they go with us all the time. And it really shows. A person does a lot of mitzvahs, it shows on them. It shows on the way they behave. Most of all, it shows in their eyes, it shows on their face, it shows on their forehead, which are places where the soul emanates, where the soul shows itself. Kindly people have kindly faces. Ruthless people have, scary faces. And so the angels that Yaakov created preceded him into the room to be with his father, and his father smelt the fragrance of Gan Eden because all his Torah learning and all his good deeds created angels that belonged in the Garden of Eden. And those were the angels that were going up. Because with our good deeds, we create angels, and they send them up to heaven. And in return, Hashem sends down angels which bear commensurate blessings. Blessings much greater, but appropriate to the angels that elicit them. It's like when you plant a seed in the earth, it grows a plant that seed came from. That the seed brings with it life that's commensurate with the place, with its origin. So the angels that we create bring down blessings that are appropriate, but much greater than what we did. So that the effort that we put into the acts of kindness that we do, that brings down similar blessings of a larger scale. So that's why, first of all, the angels go up. That's an elicitation from above. And then the angels come down, which is the blessings from Hashem. That's called, we're going to see this term in chapter 10. In chapter 10, it's called an arousal from below creates an even greater arousal from above. It's called elevating feminine waters, is a term, a Kabbalistic term for mitzvahs, good deeds that you do. It's called an arousal of feminine waters, because this world is like feminine and Hashem is like masculine, metaphorically, so to speak. And the masculine waters is the flow of blessings that come down in return. So that's why in Yaakov's dream of this ladder, this famous symbolic dream, the angels are first going up And then the angels are coming down. And then the chapter begins, this parsha in the Chumash begins that Yaakov sends messengers to Esau with the message that I'm coming and I hope that we're going to get along. And there's not going to be any more anger left in your heart. I know that he wanted to kill me, but 20 years have gone by. So it says you send messengers to Hashem. Now the word for a messenger is the same word as the word for an angel. Rashi says, what did he send? Did he send messenger? Did he send angels? And the answer is both. He sent angels. He sent his angels to Esau. And the angels mamash. Now we learned this word mamash in chapter 2 at the beginning, that Hashem gives everybody a chelik, his neshama is a chelik elokah mimal mamash. Mamash means really. Really means real, even down to the physical sense. And the Alter Rebbe explains, our Rebbe also repeats the explanation, gives it over to us, that he sent the mamash of the angels, but the essence of the angels he kept by himself. What does that mean? It means everything has an inside and an outside, a body and a soul. So the body is the external, superficial aspect of the thing, the way it appears, its physical nature, physical compared to its inner essence, which is its inner life and soul. So it says he sent the mamash of the angels. He sent the physical, external manifestation of the angels he sent to Esau, and the essence of the angels he kept by himself. They stayed by him. What happened when these angels, there's Bina. Good morning, Bina.
Morning.
So we're only missing Sharonelle. Is she with anybody online? Sharonelle there? No.
Do our angels stay with us forever?
What happened when they got? He sent the angels that they should come to Esau. Esau was coming to greet him. The angels came back with a message. We met your brother Esau, but he's really not your brother. He remained. You to him are a brother. You come to greet him with love. He's coming to murder you. And he's coming with 400 armed men. And the Medrash says not just 400 armed men, 400 generals, each of whom had 400 men. A whole army. These angels coming, angels are very powerful. It only took one angel to overthrow the whole of Sodom and Gomorrah. You don't mess around. So these angels began to attack Esau and his men. They began to attack them. So they said, why are you, they didn't know what's happening. Why are you attacking us? We're good people. We descended from Abraham. And the angel said, hit them, knock them cold. They said, but we're the armies of Esau, the son of Yitzchak. Hit them, knock them out. He says, but we're from Esau, the brother of Yaakov. Oh, you're connected with Yaakov? Okay, that's fine. They stopped beating them up. So the angels were the army, Esau's army was getting clobbered. And one by one, they all slipped away. By the time Esau came to Yaakov, he didn't have an army left. Now there's another incident with angels that happens, that happened. We have to also mention, which is in running away from Lavan and returning to Eretz Yisrael, Yaakov had to cross a river called Yabok. And to get across this river, he had his wives, his children, all his belongings, all the animals, and he himself physically, he was very strong, transported all of them from one side of the river to the other. Rashi says he made himself like a bridge, carrying everybody across. And then he went back because he left behind two small jars. He went back and all of a sudden he was attacked by a stranger in the night. That was pitch dark. And what was it? And this stranger grabs him and it seems like he wants to throw him down and kill him. And Yaakov holds his ground and doesn't let himself be thrown. And on the contrary, he tries to throw the stranger down. He doesn't know who the stranger is. He can't throw him down, but he doesn't get thrown down. And they wrestle through the night. It was a famous story. Yaakov wrestling with an angel. It was an angel. What angel was that? It was the guardian angel of Esau, his brother. Until an extraordinary thing happens. The guardian angel of Esau says, let me go. Let me go. I can't stay here any longer. And Yaakov says, I'm not letting you go until you give me a blessing. Give me your blessing. Otherwise, I'm not letting you go. So Yaakov had the other hand now. He had leverage. And he says to him, why do you have to go? He says, because I have to daven. He says, I have to daven. It was morning. It was the morning watch. He had to daven. His angels also daven. He says, I have to daven. He says, give me your blessing. He says, I'll give you my blessing later. Yaakov says, COD, I want it now. And he says these immortal words to Yaakov, from now on, your name is going to be Yisroel. Because Yisroel means Sarisa, you struggled and overcame. Men and God. In other words, angels. Because Sarisa is the same root as Yisroel. So Yisroel is a much higher name than Yaakov. Yaakov now has two names, Yaakov and Yisroel. Unlike Avram. Avram had two names, Avram and Avraham. Once Avram's name was changed, we don't use it anymore. But Yaakov maintains both names because they stand for two levels of our life as Jews. The Yaakov part of our life is like weekdays. It's the lower level. And Yisroel part of our life is like Shabbos and Yom Tov. It's a higher level of godliness. And so he blesses him. And now the next morning, Yaakov, but he touches him on his hip and it dislocates his hip. And it's very painful. It's very painful. And he's limping on his hip and the sun rises and the warmth of the sun heals him. Later that day, he does meet Esav. Esav runs at him now he's alone. He's very powerful. And he runs at him to kiss him, leaps on him. And there are two versions of what happens according to the tradition, different versions. What happened? One version is that he could no longer fight Yaakov because his guardian angel had blessed Yaakov, so he couldn't do anything to him. He didn't have any inner strength to fight Yaakov, and so he kissed him on the neck. And one version is that Hashem changed his heart at the last minute. He wanted to bite him on the neck like a lion biting its prey to kill him. And his heart changed at the last minute and he kissed him. And there's a version that the children love to hear in the yeshivas. It's a medrash that Hashem made a miracle and his neck turned to like stone, and Esau bit it and his teeth fell out. It's not the only time in the Torah that such a thing is spoken about. It says that when Pharaoh wanted to kill Moshe, he tried to behead him, and also his neck turned to stone. There's a lot of angels in this week's parsha. There's a book called the Sefer HaAchinuch, written by a great commentator, scholar, and Mekubal. And he says everything in the Torah, he writes a book of mitzvahs. It's called Sefer HaAchinuch, a book about education. And he describes the meaning of all the 613 mitzvahs in the Torah, parsha by parsha. So the mitzvah that he writes about in this week's parsha is that we don't eat the sciatic nerve of an animal to remind us of how Yaakov was injured in his thigh, in the hip. So we don't eat that. That has to be removed from the T-bone steak. That piece of sinew, we're not allowed to eat it. So in describing that mitzvah, he says, everything in the Torah is prophecy. Even the stories are prophecy. So what's this story all about? He says, this story is about the whole future of the Jewish people. From that day on, in keeping with the prophecy that Shem told Rivka that she had two nations in her womb, and they would constantly be at war with each other. When one is up, the other is down. Esau founded a nation which persecuted the children of Yaakov for 2,000 years. They have been our tormentors and our persecutors. Esau's children founded Rome, and Rome destroyed the temple of God in Jerusalem. And the struggle with the children of Esau, says the Sefer HaChinuch, will continue through the dark night. They're wrestling through the night. The night is the night of exile. And this prophecy is that they will afflict us and they will hurt us, but they will not throw us down. They will not be able to destroy us. And many nations will rise up against us and will disappear from the stage of the history of mankind. And we will outlive them all. And the sun that rises to heal Yaakov, this is the son of Moshiach. That's what he says there. That's what this week's parsha is all about. Yeah, so that's how it starts. Yaakov sent his angels. He saw the two groups of angels, and then he has to greet Esau, and he sends his personal angels to let Esau know who's who. Okay, back to chapter 3. We have two divisions that the Eibishter gives out, two divisions in the world of Sephiros, 3 mothers and 7 days of the week. And why are they called 7 days of the week? Because everything we do is from our feelings. When you understand an idea, the idea can generate feelings. And the feelings make you behave. They make you do things. If you don't have feelings, you're not going to do anything. I don't feel for it, you'll say. Why don't you join this particular group? I don't feel for it. If you feel for it, oh, I like that idea. I feel for it. I'm going to join. I'm going to do something about it. I'm not just going to feel bad for this person. I'm going to make it better for them. I'm going to do something about it. So we have 3 intellectual sources. These are mothers. They give birth to feelings. The feelings are the source of what we do, and we learn what they are from the Torah itself. because these 7 aspects are the source of the 7 days of the week. So therefore, they are referred to here as the 7 days of creation. And they're called doubles because they work together. It speaks in Kabbalah about a higher level antecedent to creation, to what we call physical creation, where we have the potential in spiritual terms of creation. But it isn't a stable level. It's not stable because every one of these 7 aspects is so powerful, it's so intense. It's a godly aspect, but it's so intense that it cannot work together with anyone else. And perhaps you know people like that. That they're very, very strong-minded and they feel very strongly about things and their feelings are admirable, but they just can't get along with someone else. They can't work well in a team. This is called chaos. There's a level called chaos, a level of creation before the world of stability. Esau was from that, the life in Esau was from that very, very high level, and that's why Yitzchak wanted to bless him. But the idea is that if a person, for instance, has in him a love of kindness, he's always doing acts of kindness, but everything has to be kindness. He's not open to hear about any other way of behaving. Then there are other people who serve Hashem with accuracy and discipline, and everything is proper and holy. But if a thing doesn't deserve, it doesn't get. There's no room for mercy or kindness. There are 2 opposite ways of serving Hashem, with kindness or with strictness, like Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel emphasizes the way things actually are. Beis Shammai looks at the potential, the way things can be. 2 totally opposite things. They don't work together. So that's, if things don't work together, that's chaos. A lower level, the intensity of the life force is less, and the vessels that hold it are stronger, are less diaphanous, are less subtle, are less fragile. They're stronger. Stronger vessels hold lesser light. So the more flimsy vessels, earlier in a higher stage of creation, don't hold the light. They bust. They're constantly busting open. So this is a level of chaos that comes before the level of the world that we know it. And both of these worlds have 10 aspects. What are the 10 aspects? Page 67. The 3 aspects called the mothers are Chabad, Chochmah, Bina, Das. And the 7 doubles are called doubles because they work together. And they're known as the 7 days of creation. Why are they known as 7 days of creation? If we look into the story of creation, on day 1, what did Hashem create on day 1? What?
Light.
Light. So we know that the first of these 7 levels is connected with light. Let's say a person has all kinds of trouble, and you meet this person, a friend of yours, you say, you look very troubled today. He says, the world is very dark for me. Why? It happened to a friend of mine. A friend of mine was having all kinds of problems. He told me the story. All kinds of problems. He couldn't pay the tuition for his children. His business wasn't doing well. The principal of the school wanted to throw his daughter out. And he didn't know where to get the money. So what did he do? He felt helpless, hopeless and helpless. He closed his office. He went to the oil to ask a blessing for Hashem. He's in the tent, and a friend comes in, someone that he knows, And he says, oh, what are you doing here? He says to his friend. He says, I came to ask a blessing. He says, is everything okay? He saw his trouble. He says, I need a big blessing. I'm really not very well. He needed refuah shalema. And he tells my friend about his troubles. Listening to this friend, he completely forgets about the reason that he came himself. And after a few minutes of talking and commiserating with his friend, he said he remembers that he also came for a purpose. And he says, please excuse me, I'll just jump into the oil. I'll go into the oil for 5 minutes. I'll come back out. I just have to ask a bracha. He says, why? What do you need? Oh, he said, I need a lot of money. I don't know what to do. His friend, the sick friend, says, what do you call a lot of money? He says, I need $7,000. He says, $7,000? That's not a lot. No. After he came out from the oil, his friend said to him, is everything okay? He says, well, I hope it'll be okay. I don't know what's going to be. I need a lot of money. His friend says, what do you call a lot of money? $7,000. He says, that's not a lot of money. He pulls out a checkbook and he writes him a check for $7,000. All of a sudden, his world wasn't dark anymore. Because kindness is like light. On the first day, Hashem said, let there be light, and there was light. So the first of these 7 aspects in our character is kindness. And that's how we know what it is. On the second day, isn't that a nice story? True story. He totally forgot about himself. He just showed great kindness and compassion for his friend. Then he went and asked the Rebbe for a blessing to help him out of his troubles. And how fast, how speedily did the blessing come, just like the angels going up, and the angel came right back down.
Is that the Teferet?
He says, he said to his friend, you don't have to do that. He says, what? You want to deprive me of a mitzvah? I need mitzvahs. He insisted on giving him the money. I heard a comment.
Is that the Teferet?
What?
Teferet?
No, the second day. What happened on the second day? Does anybody remember how the creation goes? What happened on the second day?
We'll separate the earth and water.
Yes. On the second day, Hashem separated the waters because the whole world was covered with water. So from this, we understand that what's being described here is not the order of creation. It's not the order in which Hashem did things, because obviously the water was there first. The water was already there. So he created the water before he started the creation, as we understand creating things. And the waters covered the deep. So we have the earth underneath. So the earth and the water are already created. But Hashem had to separate the waters on the second day. He separates the waters and he leaves the waters down below. And what does he do with the other water? He takes some of the waters and he elevates them. Where did they go? Where are they supposed to go? Into a big swimming pool. They went above the heavens. Above the heavens, you can send up rocket ships. You're never going to find them. This is above the heavens, whatever that means. So the waters were separated from lower waters and to higher waters. And the Medrash says an extraordinary thing. He says the lower waters were very upset because they wanted to be close to Hashem. They said, why did the higher waters get to be close to you and we have to remain down here in this dark world? Hashem said, you have a good point, but don't be upset. This is the way it has to be. And I'm going to honor you. You will also be close to me because there's going to be a special, the happiest time of the whole year is when people are going to bring your water and pour it on my altar in my holy temple, which is Simchas Beis HaShoeva in Sukkot. And not only that, he said, but that's only once a year. Hashem said, it doesn't matter. The whole year, every single day, 7 7 days a week, there has to be salt from your waters on my altar. No one can bring an offering to me without salt from your waters. And my covenant, my bris with Abraham was in his flesh. My bris with you will be with the Kohanim, my covenant with the priests in my temple will be a covenant of salt. Just like salt preserves everything, so your blessings will preserve those who are blessed. And just like salt does not decay, my covenant with you will never decay. And everything that you bring that will be brought on the altar has to be dipped in salt. And that's why we have salt on the table. Wherever we eat, wherever there's a table, we have to have salt on the table, even if you're not eating. Always have salt on the table, because the table is a symbol of the altar of God. You know what an altar is? I was thinking an altar was a railing at the front of a place of worship. The altar boys stand at the front of the church. The altar is a big stone structure on which we bring offerings, and we make a fire on top, and we slaughter the offering. We spritz the blood, which is the life of the offering, in place of our own life, and then some of the meat gets burned. The choice parts, the best parts, get burned on the altar as our way of saying thank you to Hashem for your blessings. And other parts of the meat we eat, like on Pesach, roast lamb. We don't eat it because we don't have a Beis Hamikdash, but they did in the old days. When Moshiach comes, we'll do it again. Lamb chops, roast lamb chops on Pesach, called the Paschal lamb, Paschal offering. So that's why the table that we eat on is like the Mizbeach. The word for Mizbeach means an altar. An altar is a place where we bring our offerings of thanksgiving or atonement to make up for mistakes we made before Hashem. Okay, so the upper waters, the lower waters, Hashem calmed them down by saying, you are going to be together with me. Every time people bring an offering, you are going to be part of that offering. That's Tuesday. That's Monday. So Monday is the day when the waters were separated, separating two things that are together. You know, if you have a Velcro buckle and you pull it, you have to pull hard to separate it. Separating things is not easy. The policeman stands at the stopping, goes like this. Everybody has to stop. That's a sign of discipline and strength. Nobody shoots the people controlling the red light. The policeman is standing there, you don't dare go across. That is strength. So the second day, the second midah, the second characteristic, the second sphera is the sphera of strength. Serving Hashem with strength, it means serving him with discipline. It means not eating food that's not kosher for you, not having relationships with people you're not supposed to have relationships with. It says when the Jews were in Egypt, that was very, very hard for them to swallow. There was a lot of relationships in Egypt. People had all kinds of illicit relationships. Men and men, women, men and women, cross families, parents and children, all kinds of forbidden sexual relationships. Refraining from them and refraining from this is a way of serving God. Staying away from things that are forbidden. The negative mitzvahs. Don't steal, don't rob, don't beat people up, do not commit adultery, do not desire things, don't be covetous of things that other people possess and own. 365 negative mitzvahs in the Torah. They are an expression of the second day of creation, which is gevura, strength, discipline. Saying Kriya Shema on time, going to bed on time, finishing your assignments on time. All this requires discipline and inner strength. So the first day is a day of kindness. The second day is a day of coming to class on time. See you tomorrow, business Hashem at 8:30.
Thank you.